So again, thank you all so much for coming, whatever your time zone may be. Yeah, this is our sixth community call, which is super exciting. And today we're going to be going into careers in zero waste design, which can have many different facets and outlets. And it's going to be interesting to see what you all have to think. But yeah, we really wanted to come together to share our experiences in specifically careers in zero waste design. And that could be through academic courses, through existing job opportunities, or other opportunities of like how you've made your way in the world of zero waste. We really want to thank Marie Stanza for suggesting this call. I don't know if Marie's actually on yet, but I tried to find a picture of her to add to the slides, but I didn't want to be too creepy and go back too far in her social media history. But yeah, all right. So if we get going, I just wanted to say thank you again to everyone who supported us along the way. It means so much, and we're able to keep offering events like this because of all of you guys that have been helping along the way. So thank you. And we just want to kick off by really saying, we know that you guys have heard our stories probably a million times by now of the collective founders of how we got to where we are. So we really want to make this about you guys, about our community, because you have so much talent and experience, and we really want to hear from you. Of course, if you have questions about the collective's founders, we can, of course, answer any of those, but it's not about us. And we just have a few prompts here of different things that we thought were really quite relevant to what we're talking about today. I'll just leave this up for a few minutes to see if it gets any juices flowing for anyone. But the first few questions are around this idea of, do you believe that higher education and like a master's degree is relevant to pursuing a career in zero waste design? What types of jobs exist today as is? Are there any jobs that exist as is that other people will hire you for? What options are there if you don't want to start your own brand? I think that's a big one. And then what resources do we as Zero Waste Design Online have that we can share? Or what can we begin offering that people would like to see, so there's lots of things that we can go into there. And, one of the other things that we'll go into is, what are the positives and negatives of working in this industry, and how can we start to make it better for all of us involved. So that's the overall gist for the day. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts right off the bat, or we can go into one of the specific questions that we have here. I just prattle on until someone else starts talking often, so please stop me. But, if we start with this idea of, do we think that a master's degree is completely relevant to begin a journey in zero waste design or continue a journey in zero waste design? I think that that's a really interesting question if anyone has any thoughts around that. I have my own personal thoughts, but I'll reserve them until I hear others. Okay, well, I can share my thoughts then for the time being. Unless there's something in the chat that I'm missing, which in that case, please just let me know. So I think for my journey of zero waste design, I've been doing it for a very long time through, the more corporate lens of design careers, not specifically for zero waste design. And for me, I felt that a master's degree was necessary in my personal journey because I felt that I needed the backing of higher institutions and a bit more of a network in order to actually kick off my individual design career through zero waste design. And I think it wasn't even necessarily about the degree itself, because I went to RCA and there's no specific like sustainability course. So it wasn't even specifically meant for zero waste design. So I think it was just that network and the added backing of a really great school that I think elevated me to a point where I could, have my own consultancy and be doing my own little design line and that kind of thing. So that's my 2 cents, but anyone else feel free to jump in. Also, I'm going to stop sharing this so I can actually see everyone, because I can only see like 2 people. So I think Cass is putting the questions in the chat so that we can go back to them if we need to, but I'll stop sharing for now.
Olivia said that she could chime in after you, so just in the
Oh, yes. Cool.
Hi guys. I just wanted to chime in really quick and say that I'm working for Danielle this summer, and I'm studying environmental sustainability at school. I'm just I'm doing undergraduate studies right now, um, and I'm also working on my own sustainable knitwear brand that's been really great and doing pretty well. So I also just wanted to encourage anyone that's maybe younger on the call, that you don't necessarily need a master's in an art, like a MFA, to pursue sustainable design or zero waste design. And also Danielle was really encouraging when I was first starting, when I wasn't sure if I could be pursuing fashion because I'm studying environmental sciences, that designers need help with things like the research with the environmental side of things, and with the calculations. If you're really good at math, like, fashion isn't just all about, I mean, of course design is a huge part of it, but there's also those little things around design that you can also help out with that. So I don't know, I thought I would just chime in and say that. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Olivia has been an amazing intern. Thank you so much. She's helped so much with everything else outside of that, like, exactly what she said, everything that you could possibly need that isn't necessarily specifically related to design. So as you said, there's definitely so much room for so many different types of jobs and different experiences and all of that. Yeah.
I think for me, sort of, because I'm like about to start my BA, so like I'm not even like really at that point of like, it's like still a ways out for me, obviously. But I think my sort of point of view is, it's sort of always been in the back of my mind because I'm much more interested in like a more research, like academia route, where it feels like it's more necessary in that area. Like I totally think if I were to go into like the industry directly, it might not be necessarily as important, especially depending on where I were to do my BA. But yeah, I feel like the actual like substance of the masters would be more important for like an academia route. It's just sort of, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Holly is currently moving, so I don't think she's joining the call, but it's been interesting hearing her perspective from the academia world as well, and how much that can change the course of the course of zero waste design within the world of academia, like having people at that level. So it's definitely incredibly important to have that side of things covered too.
I tend to think that zero waste as a movement is trying to change the society we live in. And for me, it's the first time I ever hear about zero waste fashion design, and I'm completely new to that. I do zero waste at home, but this is completely new to me, and I'm super interested in carrying in carrying on my zero waste movement into being more zero waste with the clothes that I make. So I tend to think that for me, I see that as something to be democratized as much as possible, because it's, for me, the zero waste in general, and in part fashion, is, we know that fashion pollutes so much, and keeping the zero waste fashion design in a kind of academic route, let's say, kind of narrows it. It doesn't feel that it would be accessible to just anyone. And I think that, on the contrary, it's time for everyone to be able to move on to this alternative way of thinking, and not have them like as boxes, because we're in never-ending sets of boxes.
Yes, absolutely. That's great feedback. I would love to know more about like your personal zero waste journey. What does that mean? Tell us more.
Well, I started a couple of years ago, just starting to reduce plastic. I make my own products. I give like talks in work, and try to well, to get people to know about that. And just at the beginning of the year, I started making my own, well, some clothes. I'm a complete beginner. And I came across a present from the universe, which is like thousands of, little fabric samples. And I've got them like invading my room. And I thought, oof, that's a great way for me to start mixing what I start to like to do, which is create my own clothes and giving a second life to those samples. So I thought, okay, so I'll start to make like patchwork, well, bits of pieces of material, and then looking through YouTube's on how to create patchwork, because I had no idea. I came across this zero waste fashion design, and I was like, but this is the purpose. This is the link between those samples and creating new clothes. So I really wanted to mix that, but it's been going on for slowly but surely in my life for the past 2 years that I don't know, for me, it's a complete change of, there was a before and an after. And for me, it's so important that this is why I'm coming back to what I was saying before. Like, I think it should be as accessible as possible to just anyone.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing. I also totally feel that the before and after of when you learn about zero waste design, you can't go back.
No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Kind of on that note, I would love to know, for anyone who is like in this world of zero waste design, is it something that you found yourself and have like pushed your career towards or your livelihood towards, or is it something that has kind of, just evolved over time? It's such an interesting thing. I love hearing about people, how it has arrived like in your lives. That might be a complex question.
Oh, I had a definite moment where I decided that I was only going to make zero waste patterns from now on. So I was already a pattern maker, and I worked in industry for 20 years, and then we moved to the country and had children, which I was okay with. When we got married, my husband said, if we have a family, then I would like us to live in the country like I did and have children in the country. So so we moved, and I waited. So I was at home with small children, and then I waited till everyone started school. Then I finished writing a sewing book, and I started a sewing blog. And then at the beginning of last year, I was in a scheme the government does to help unemployed people start businesses, because I'd been out of the workforce for 10 years. And so in the scheme, we had 6 weeks of business training, and then we had 10 months of unemployment benefits until your business started making money. And then, and that's at the same time, I decided at the beginning of last year that I was only going to do zero waste patterns from now on. So, so now I have a little business that produces zero waste home sewing patterns and sells books. So I have written 2 books now, and I write articles and content. And so I work at home, and I keep my overheads very low, and I run a very lean business. Oh, it's Liz, Julia, it's, I'm just Liz Hayward. I'm just a sole trader. So it's just me here. I don't have staff. I work at home on the kitchen table. I do everything except proofread patterns and modeling, obviously. But for me, yes, there was a definite moment where I did zero waste leading up to it, and then I decided that that's all I was going to do from now on. So I don't. So I am a formally trained pattern maker, but I'm definitely not academia. I'm more factory floor.
Amazing. How has the difference been of like working on a factory floor for 20 years and now working for yourself? How has that been a massive change over time? I know circumstances changed, of course, but like, you know.
It's so much nicer, you know, like factories aren't nice, you know, they're really cold in winter and they're really hot in summer. I do really miss working in a team of people, like in a team of highly skilled people. I miss that quite a lot, but it's really hard on your body. So towards the end of 20 years, it was only regular chiropractic care and massage that kept me going for as long as I did. It's very hard physically working and being on your feet all day and standing on concrete.
Yeah.
But yeah, so much nicer being, and this, you know, also in factories, the facilities are bare, you know, it's an unlined shed and there's only a cold tap in the bathroom, that kind of thing. Being at home is so much nicer. And I like the variety of things I get to do now. But also I would never go back to factory work. I'm past that now.
Oh my gosh. Does anyone else in the call work for themselves in this kind of way in the world of zero waste, or are on their way to working for themselves? Yeah. Simone.
Hi, everyone. I'm a South African fashion designer and I also work for myself. I just recently started my fashion brand, also using like fabric samples that I was donated, and I also like sew them together in patchwork, and then I use that for my shirt collection. It's very small for now, but it's my first collection that I'm doing and selling. So yeah, that's me.
Amazing. How did you end up starting this? You can't just leave us hanging. You have to tell us more.
So I did my I studied fashion design, and then I did my honors, and my honors was mixing zero waste pattern making and zero waste fabrics to prevent pre-consumer textile waste completely. And then from there, that's when I decided, oh, I actually really like this. And, you know, I'm also like just testing it out if like I can actually have a career in this, if people actually are interested in buying sustainable fashion and this type of sustainable fashion. And yeah, so I started.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
I think someone else had waved their hand, or maybe
It was Christina.
So I see that there's so much knowledge in this room. I'm sure that I am very, very small. I didn't study fashion design. It's like my family, my couple of generations of people, like tailors, but I didn't really pursue that. And I learned it, but that was not my job until recently, my dream job. But, you know, the idea of going back to school at my age and take another master's degree on this, it's absolutely out of the table. At the same time, my mind is quite creative, and it goes toward mostly fashion. And I would like to apply all of these things while I'm working. And I don't know if what I do is going to be likable or not, because I'm still in the process. I'm super interested of what other people are doing, and super worried that what I'm doing, then at the end, someone else is going to do it. And this is kind of a drama. And I would like to ask you what you think about that, because I don't know, I think it's a thing in the sector. I'm not in the sector. I mean, I didn't study it. I don't know much about it. And this is the thing that I'm most afraid of. And maybe it's completely out of topic, but you will see about that if it's the case to talk about it. And I'm very excited. And I think if really this is something that it should be a knowledge for everybody. I mean, you cannot really learn it by yourself that easily. And when I show my mom my stuff, she has no idea what she's looking at. And she said, yeah. And so it's like I understand in that university there are not many departments or subjects on the topic. There are plenty because I took multiple courses on sustainability and fashion and circular economy and so on. They always mention this, but I don't think, yeah, it's like something really available. It would be so great to have more courses, not necessarily academia, because this is something, you know, unreachable for many people if we really want that this is going to be more approachable. And nothing, I'm so small and anything, so I just say these things. You probably have much more ideas and concrete things to say, but I love to be here and I love what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah, no, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And don't even think that you're this big. You're this big because we're all here together. Yes.
Christina, did you mean like more hands-on how to do courses?
Yes, I'm not sure. So I have a plan. I'm going to find out how exactly, because you know for sure plenty. But in a couple of weeks, I'm going to meet finally after 2 years my mom and actually work with her. And I will find out how hard it is to actually make it like likable and understandable, reasonable, you know. So I'm not sure, because you know I'm very not good in making patterns anyway. So for me, this is like, oh my God, I can actually, you know, I studied art in Milan many years ago. I can do sculpture again, but it's like this is not normal. Like this is not usual. This is not attractive for. So yeah, I don't know how this, like more, yes, to understand exactly, because you see, I don't know, the patterns, you see maybe someone, but I'm not sure that is so, and also, you know, it's most part a bit different kind of way of, you know, the lookalike, you know, you don't have most of the time, I don't know what you get in what is called Primark, you know, this kind of style of things that the mainstream is, and you know, this should be attractive for many people. So understanding the taste, make it more attractive or something like that, or maybe I'm just going out of.
I think it was really interesting. I may have misunderstood, but let me know if I'm wrong. But you were talking about being maybe hesitant to share before something's ready because of the amount of copying that's in the fashion industry. Is that what you were talking about a little bit earlier? Because that's definitely like a thing that a lot of designers are fearful of. If you're like in the world of like design, you know, everyone just rips off your garments, and there's really no way to like protect yourself, because that's not what the fashion industry does. But yeah, is that what you meant earlier?
At which, like what I just said, mentioning Primark or one.
Oh, it was. Oh, well,
like stealing. I don't know how it is. I'm doing some things, but I don't know. I imagine, okay, it cannot be that special, so probably someone else is doing it, and I would like to sell it because I quit my job, so I would like to, you know, make some money out of something that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't want to do that, but I'm not sure how to not make it happen. Like like in a month I'm gonna scroll on Instagram and say, oh my God, that's kind of the same that I'm doing. It's like basically the same. And what should I do now? What should I write and say, oh my God, what should I do? I'm gonna give you back the money. I don't know how it works, but this is probably out of topic.
Yeah, I feel like that could be a whole other community call in itself around like the ideas of like IP and like protecting yourself and that kind of thing. I went through a whole rigmarole when I was at school trying to figure that out, of like patents versus trademarks versus all that, and does it actually mean anything? Not really. Yeah, anyway, yeah, anyway, thank you for sharing. You'll have to keep us updated with what you're working on because I'm intrigued. Let's see. Does anyone have any thoughts that have come up during all of this?
Yes, I do.
Yes, Yulia. Mylène and Yulia.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow on what you've just said, Christina. The idea of like selling garments, and me personally, I was kind of afraid of having my own brand, and I was not interested in this. And also I felt like all the ideas were already there, and you could see them already on Instagram, on Pinterest, in the magazines. And I felt I had, not so much value in selling, what I had in my mind. And also I felt like seeing each other as competitors wouldn't help the world becoming better. And so that's one of the reasons I decided I wanted to find a business model that was not in selling products. I was very interested in how can I just raise awareness in my country around zero waste design while being able to live, like to pay my rent, to pay my food, etc. So, and I was very interested in education. And at the beginning, I decided to share bits of patterns, ideas, and organize some workshops, like because at your own level, as you said, you think you don't have like valuable thing to share, but you are, because you're already interested in zero waste design. So just bringing that different vision can have a value for other people. It's not a matter of how many years of experience you could have in zero waste design. It's also just a matter of introducing zero waste design in your language, in your country, or to some local communities. For me, there are plenty of ways to get like tiny income out of this educational actions. It's not just selling. I do think.
I totally agree as well. I think anyone who's working in zero waste design is it's an opportunity to educate people, because there's so many people that don't know about zero waste design now. So just by practicing zero waste design, you're going to educate people about it as well, which I think is really, really powerful. And I mean, that's a big part of what we're trying to do. And I think someone earlier spoke about this idea of democratizing, the process in zero waste design. And that's, because I think it's right. It's like, you don't want to have to go to do a master's or an undergrad or, to be able to learn it. And we want to bring all of that information to one place and make it really accessible. And that's why it's really valuable having all of you and having a community as well, because everyone has something to offer and different perspectives from different cultures. And all of that's really, really valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I totally second that, especially like the idea of just like how important teaching is, because I mean, for me as somebody who would sort of be expected to start like thinking about, okay, time to go into the industry, something that I've always sort of like, especially like being exposed to zero waste design before I even make that step, it's sort of like, I don't want to do this. So for me, that was sort of my reasoning for, okay, how can I sort of like continue a research practice while being able to teach? Because I think that's, I mean, I know how much it impacted me. And I think being able to pass that on to my peers is like something that's much more rewarding in my eyes. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yulia, you had put your hand up before. Did you still have a thought?
Well, hello everyone. I am currently based in Stockholm, and I'm a pattern maker. I was working in the industry for more than 20 years. I went through CMT to high fashion, and I've seen it all, and I've done it all, and I left I've been pushed out of the industry because, I don't know, I just got a bit burned out, first of all, and then I came back and I could not motivate myself to work there anymore. You know, it's just, it doesn't, with my personal life and my beliefs and sustainability, it's just like, it's such a clash to go every day and, you know, just do something and then which you're not aligned with. Okay, so there is a question, what type of work I would like to see with zero waste design. For me, I'm not a designer. I'm not trained as a designer. I'm a technical person. I have a lot of experience with, you know, with different materials, with different constructions. I worked across all kinds of products. So I would like to have a job as a pattern maker with zero waste design. But I have no idea how is it even possible to find this kind of job, and unless I create it for myself. But I'm not entrepreneur, you know. That's not. I have to be clear with my strengths and my, you know, what I'm good at. So, for example, and there was other question, how you can support this community, maybe to have some kind of portal which can link those people who need, for example, pattern makers, and those who are pattern makers, or maybe who are designers, you know, so some kind of meeting point for those people, so they can kind of, you know, interact and find each other. I don't know. And also there's other thing, because I'm not working at the moment and waiting for something to come along, and I find it very difficult for myself to motivate myself to, because I can do clothes. I'm not interested to make it for myself anymore. I've done it when I was in my 20s. I grew up in Ukraine where there was nothing there, and you need to make your clothes because otherwise you're wearing some, you know, whatever stuff from Turkey or China, and that I've moved on through that. You know, I can do it, but it's not my, I'm interested in creating a product, but not wearing it on for myself, because I'm also quite attuned, like what Christina said. I think I understood what she meant when she's doing it. Her mom, like, it doesn't look like stylish maybe, or it doesn't look something like, so people just like feeling, it's domestic, it's like custom made, homemade products. And I know when I work in the company, when I work in a fashion house, how much thought goes into details, into finishings, into furniture, how they develop zips, and, you know, all of these details. So this is interesting to create that kind of product, you know, when there's so much thought of design behind it. And I totally, I'm an ambassador of high fashion, because my friends come to me and they're just like, well, why does it cost so much? When I try to explain them that not all high fashion worthy those money, but there are examples where it really does make sense. Why is it so expensive? So yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, we've talked about doing some sort of like job portal or like introduction section on our website. And that was going to be like one of the things that we kind of add on at the end, like how many people would be interested in that type of thing. So yeah, maybe we should do a poll or something at the end where we can see if that's something that everyone would be interested in, because I think it'd be very valuable. And that kind of ties into a few of the other like prompts that we had of, you know, if you don't want to start your own brand, what do you want to do? Or like, if you are starting your own brand, what kind of things do you need? Or like, what kind of resources would you need from a community like us? You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, any other thoughts on that portal or connection or anything like that?
Just to jump in and say, at the moment, what we do have is our Slack kind of channels, and we have an introduce yourself page where you can put out like, you know, who you are and what you're interested in doing. And there's lots of people on there that might be reading through that for now. And once we create the directory as well that we're working on creating, that's something that we'll probably look at and maybe contact people who've listed their names on there as well to add to the directory. But even like we've talked amongst the four of us, like we get offered work for industry that the four of us maybe don't want to take on, and we'd love to have a place where there's other designers, we can offer work that comes into Zero Waste Design Online as well. So yeah, it's something we're definitely thinking of and aware of, and yeah, thanks so much for bringing it up. I'm trying to remember what your question was, Danielle, now that I just came in.
No, it's okay. It was just any other thoughts on resources or anything like that that any of you would want to see in this kind of future world of connecting people and things like that. I think it's so cool that we're such an international community as well. And because we can work remotely, we can connect people from all over the world to speak with each other and give their expertise. So I think that that's very cool.
I can add in maybe a few things.
Yeah, please.
I'm in Southern California and I've been a pattern maker for a long time. I've worked for companies and now I'm pretty much freelance. Nice. And I'm computerized, and I also teach pattern making at the local community college. So I do have a few clients that I think could fit in zero waste styles to their line, but I've just been a little hesitant to offer it because I've just wondered how I would charge for it. It seems like there's more development, like that it would be more expensive, and I don't have a lot of free time to spare, you know, to develop things without getting paid. And I also want to mention I did fit in a zero waste project into one of my classes at the college recently, and so that was fun to see how the students reacted, and a couple of them got inspired to do a project with zero waste. And to go back, I have a few things from the very beginning. Like I'm teaching on a bachelor's degree and a lot of experience. I don't have a master's. I might get paid a little more if I had a master's, but since I just do one class a semester, it's not that big of a deal. My main career is pattern making. I like that better than teaching. And was it Olivia that mentioned she was environmental studies? Mm-hmm. And yes. I have known a few companies that actually have that position, you know, bigger companies that have that environmental kind of position in the company. So it's not design or pattern making, it's mainly like sourcing and making sure you're adhering to some of the certificates of zero waste or organic cotton, or, you know. So there are jobs in that don't have to be pattern making or design. You just have to find the right bigger companies that have more employees. But as far as fitting in zero waste to my own clients, maybe Danielle, I know you work for other people, so maybe you have some ideas for me to how to approach it, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It's awesome that you're getting to do so many different things. I feel like teaching keeps inspiring the pattern making, which keeps inspiring the teaching and all of that good stuff. But yeah, in terms of doing freelance projects, it's really difficult to figure out how much to charge for what your work is. It's kind of dependent on, like for me, only my experience. So anyone else feel free to contradict or add in or whatever. But so I have a bunch of factors that I look at, like, you know, the company, do I believe in their mission and do I want to add on to what they're doing and help? That's the first one. You know, how big is the company? How much would they, do you think, normally pay their employees? How long the project would actually take? And if, you know, if it's a 6-month project, and you know how much you need to make in a year, but you know you can do other projects on top of that, you can kind of devise like your salary that you want by the amount of projects that you can take on and kind of figure it out that way. The development for zero waste projects does take quite a bit longer, I would say. And that can be a detriment when proposing projects to companies. But if you add in like the figures of how much money and fabric you can save them at the end of the project, you usually pay for your whole salary out of just the savings, you know? one of my goals one day is to get a company to agree to only pay me like a percentage of the amount of money I save them. So like if I save them $1 per garment and they only give me 10 cents, like, you know, like literally putting your money where your mouth is of I am saving you fabric and money, and that is all I need to survive, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk a little bit more in depth about how to actually like propose these kind of things, we could totally chat about that more. And maybe I'll have a few more concrete thoughts on that.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I figure, I mean, I have the charging down, you know, for my regular pattern work.
Yeah,
but it's just
totally.
adding that extra in is just a little bit different. And
Yeah.
I probably just need to go for it.
Yeah.
And not be
Yeah.
hesitant about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep doing it until you're so busy that you can't do any more of it. And then you have to raise your prices a little bit so that you can, you know, supply and demand. That's what that is. Yeah.
And I have another question too. This might be another time, but maybe another subject for a call. But I just got a new computer that can handle 3D. And so I'm trying to figure out how to develop that side of the business too. And I know, you know, Holly works in that a lot. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but
that's Mylène
just how
sure.
to, yeah. So that's another idea.
Mylène, you should share a bit about maybe your journey to zero waste and working in zero waste, because it's very related to like 3D and CAD work and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I have a master degree personally. I have started my career in a big company that's the name is Lectra, which is a software provider. It's based in France, and I started there as a computer-aided design specialist. So I was in charge of helping brands using 2D software, 3D software, and optimization software as well, like how to do marker, like with automatic marker, etc. So this is how I developed like CAD skills. And this is also the time where I realized that there was a big problem with the optimization software, because even though they were developing even more powerful algorithm, the result was still alarming because many clients, like sometimes they reach up to 40% waste when when you are working with stripe and stripes matching, etc. Anyway, that's the moment I realized there was a problem, and then I discovered zero waste design, and I wanted to try zero waste design with the software I was using on a daily basis, but I couldn't because in the industry, the software are split. Like there is one software for the design, one software for the 2D, one software for the 3D, and then one software for the optimization. It was really difficult because, in zero waste design, you have to do back and forth between the design, the pattern shapes, and consumption analysis. And so I looked for other software in the market, and this is how I found Marvelous Designer, that at that time it was meant for gaming. And then I discovered his little brother, which is Glow 3D. And I tried it and was like, oh my God, this is this software that is meant to do, like, it's not meant to do zero waste, but you can do all the same in one interface. And I was like, wow. So I got convinced by the idea of 3D, because you can do your modification and then see how shape fit together. But this software was not known in France at that time, and there was no content in French. So I just played with that software. And then when I decided to quit my job and then work on zero waste design, I realized there was a demand for like training on this kind of software. So part of my activity at the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey was to provide training, 3D training, and encourage designer to get trained on 3D, to practice zero waste design and to make the zero waste design research easier. And since then, I've had loads of requests from the industry to provide like 3D services. So sometimes I trained like teams of designers and pattern makers on how to use 3D, not related specifically to zero waste design. And sometimes they ask me, can you just digitize my pattern? Can you make it in 3D? And that can be charged as well. Like there is a huge need for this kind of skills. So I would definitely recommend you to start with this. And it was funny because at the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey, people contacted me for 3D, and it was a way for me to tell them also, hey, you know that 3D is just my own skill. I do work on zero waste design. Do you know what it is, zero waste design? And this is how I brought the topic of waste through, because everyone is interested in digital. It's so easy to go to companies and say, hey, I work on digital. So yeah, that's how I brought the topic of zero waste.
Yeah, thanks. That was good. Have you ever worked or heard of V-Stitcher that's made by Browseware?
Yeah.
So I think that one's a little more compatible with my software, but I could try Clo too.
Yeah, well, it's every software has its own file format for sure. And then there is still the DXF that allows you to export, import into the software. Yeah, I don't know browser, but I heard that it's quite nice as well and flexible. Maybe less accessible, like when you are individual designer, it's less affordable, I guess. Maybe not.
Yeah, I haven't checked into the price, but they do have what's called an indie program. And it's I haven't downloaded it yet, but it's going to be free of charge until the end of the year.
Oh, great.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so I'll try that and then go from there. And Clo isn't that bad. I looked it up. I think maybe it's $20 a month or $50. I think I can get like a teacher discount.
Yeah. Like compared to other like industry software, it's really, like, I would say even it's cheap.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. But then when you are a company, you pay, like the big company pay for the individual, but at the same time, the individual mass make the marketing. So it's yeah.
And just a side note, I started on Lectra. I learned on Lectra.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago.
Cool. Yeah, it's a complex software.
Did you ever reach out for help? Could Mylène have been one of the people that helped you?
Sorry?
Oh, I was just kidding. When you were on Lectra, did you ever reach out for support? Maybe Mylène helped you.
Oh yeah. No, I was just supporting European customers in like North Africa and Sweden, like for H&M.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, big time.
Also, I'm just adding on, I know Clo3D has a student discount as well that makes it like half the price, like £20 or $20 or something like that. So that's good to know. I think that applies for teachers too.
I got a discount with Clo last November. It was 50%, and I'm not a student and I'm not a teacher. So it was like some kind of seasonal discount. And then I spoke to someone else and they had it also from last year. So you just there are ways how you can get it. And also Clo, you have 1 month for free to start with. So.
Yeah, That's
and
amazing.
there are plenty English tutorial on YouTube that you can find. This is how I learned personally.
Mhm. Amazing. Well, we have about 5 minutes left of the call. Are there any last minute thoughts that are just waiting to come out?
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I was walking and now I'm home, so I'm able to talk. I'm from Brazil, but I live in Netherlands, and yeah, I follow all of the girls. It's have been a while, and yeah, I'm just felt in love with zero waste design, because I was thinking before, what can I do with the remains, and I had not much idea. I'm not really into patchwork, and well, I started reading, searching, and I could create some things for my daughter, for example. And now I'm in Amsterdam doing pattern cutting sustainable course for summer course. And it's nice because my teacher is teaching for so long there, and she knows a lot. And she today she asked me to search about Julian and all the models he made to try to make something like the same. And yeah, it's amazing. All these zero waste ideas, and I think more and more people are being aware of that. And it's not like when I started, I was, oh my God, it looks so hard. And now studying, reading, and understanding better the regular pattern, I think it's possible to create. And I don't know about the future. I want to study a master's degree to keep studying about zero waste. But I'm really happy with this course. It's giving me a lot of ideas. So thanks, girls.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. All right. If there are any last minute thoughts you can still add, I'm just going to put up our next community calls. We have 2 on the docket. The one on August 4th in a few weeks is if anyone wants to help us complete our directory of patterns and designers. We'll be doing it in an open forum for anyone with any ideas to come and to help. And if you know anyone, just start sending them our way. And then on September 29th, we'll be hosting a students and educators call, co-hosted by Lars, the one and only. So look forward to that. And then also on August 4th, I'm going to be talking about zero waste design in denim for a Coats cast, Coats the thread. So that's just an hour right before this open community call for the pattern directory. So look forward to those. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for coming and for chatting. If there are any other thoughts, please add in the chat or just speak up now. But yeah, thank you so much. We love you guys and appreciate all of your time and support. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you want to follow up after today as well, we've obviously got our Slack channel and Instagram, so please feel free to keep in touch with us or email us as well. We love hearing from you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a good day or good night. Bye.